What is the most BS thing you have ever been taught? This is a little different than the other things posted here, but here goes. My dad taught me at a young age that the stuffing inside of the turkey was not as good as the stuffing cooked outside of the turkey. So my dad, being a nice dude, would always eat the turkeyed stuffing. As I got older, I got bolder, so I tried the turkeyed stuffing. Bastard was a liar trying to keep the best stuffing for himself. Never trusted him after that. You won't always have a calculator with you. Saturn is the only planet that has rings. This was in, like 1984. I raised my hand and said that I had a book on planets at home and it said that Jupiter had rings too, but they're small and hard to see. The teacher chastised me for lying and told me to be quiet. Next day she tells the class that she had gone to the library, looked it up, and discovered that I wasn't lying. Jupiter has rings. She apologized. So that went better than most of the stories in this thread. I remember being taught the taste map of the tongue, that we have only 5 senses, and that deoxygenated blood is blue. Future employers will see how many detentions you have had during school. I was in 1st grade and my teacher told the class that the moon was made of Swiss cheese. At home we only had the free TV stations available since we were poor, so I was watching a lot of educational programs and documentaries. I was especially interested in our solar system and wanted to become a star and planet professor, as I called it. So I was baffled and confused when my teacher said the moon was made of Swiss cheese. Guess most of my classmates were too, but were too unsure to second guess her. Being a smartass, I said, but the moon is made of stones and rocks, to which she only replied no. Okay. That everyone should be punished because one person in your group did something wrong. I guess that means that all Middle Easterners should be killed because less than 1% of them are terrorists. Winners don't do drugs. The evidence says otherwise. Sex ed in middle school taught me you can still get pregnant from anal. Louisiana abstinence programs told me condoms were ineffective as birth control because a condom couldn't stretch to fit around a woman's uterus or something to that effect. I remember a woman on stage trying to stretch a condom around her waist and broke it and claiming there. How can condoms be effective if they can't even cover the width of the birth canal? Lots of pregnancies in high school. Poor kids never had a chance. If you can't jump very high, it's because of the mass of the air above your head. There is no air above your head on the moon, that's why you can jump higher. You can't really say it's false when you're 7 years old. My high school health teacher didn't believe in evolution. Therefore, when asked why we have fingernails, he couldn't just tell us they are modified claws. Instead, we were taught that they regulate body temperature. My IT teacher once said in class that the Internet Explorer is the best browser currently available. My 8th grade social studies teacher told us all kinds of garbage. The best were: salmon is not an animal. He asked on a quiz to name 3 animals that Lewis and Clark ate on their expedition. Everyone wrote salmon and he marked everyone wrong because if I accepted that, I'd have to accept spiders too. He didn't know much about biology. Washington, D.C. was carved out of Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware. In kindergarten we were learning simple math. Some of the questions were 1 minus 2 equals and 4 minus 8 equals, so naturally being a smart kid I wrote -1 and -4 to answer those questions. I was marked wrong because you don't learn about negative numbers yet. The fact I still remember this shows how much I hate our education system for doing that to me. In middle school I had a teacher tell us that America was the only free country in the world. Confused, I said that plenty of countries like Canada, Japan, England, and Australia seem plenty free to me. She responded by saying that they aren't really free because they don't elect their own leaders. Even as a kid I was pretty sure that was wrong but didn't call her on it. When I asked my math and physics teacher in high school how we measure the distance to stars and galaxies, she told me they were bouncing lasers off them. She wasn't stubborn though and told me she'd look it up until next period. She had to have a degree in both to teach it. I have no idea how she managed that. Really nice though. I once had a teacher in 2nd grade who was adamant that Melbourne was the capital of Australia. It's not, by the way. Now I knew better and swiftly called her out on this. Nah bullshit miss, it's Canberra. The teacher then just said I was lying to everyone and told everyone in the class not to believe my lies. How can people like this teach our kids? In a religious education class I had when I was 15. The teacher was talking about the teleological arguments for God's existence. She said that because we were all different and all had different DNA, we must have been designed by a higher power. As I took this class along with my identical twin brother, when she said that we all had different DNA, I kind of laughed and gestured towards my brother. When she looked over, her response was, "Yeah, well, perhaps you might have been designed to look the same, but obviously you have different DNA inside you." That pressing Alt and F4 makes my game run faster. There are clinical studies done in horses that support that masturbation causes blindness. Catholic school science teacher. A marijuana cigarette has 8 times as much nicotine as one made of tobacco. Word for word my health teacher in elementary school. When I used to do chores, my dad told me that I couldn't vacuum with the TV on or it would suck the color out of the screen. My wife would tell me for the longest that she didn't like watermelon. Whatever just meant there was more for me. Flash forward some time and I'm talking with her dad about watermelon and I mentioned how she doesn't like it. He looks me in the eye and says that's 'cause when they, her and siblings, were younger I gave them the crappy parts of the watermelon so they wouldn't steal it from me. In that moment I knew El Diablo had a carnal form. Ex-wife is full of bullshit to teach our kid instead of just saying no. I have to undo the damage. The gum staying in your body thing is one. My personal favorite was don't chew your hair or you'll get worms. I have no idea why she thinks humans have worm larvae in our hair, but she's a meth addict now and out of my child's life, which is nice. When I was 8 my dad told me that if I don't brush my teeth before bed a shit fairy would come and shit in my mouth and then I would taste it when I woke up.